turn myself around. I can stand on one shoe. I can listen, so can you. Let's sit down, I'll show you how. Story time is starting now. It's time for story time. Hi, and welcome back to Storytime. We've got a super warm and fuzzy story time today because today we're talking about something that we use in the winter time when it gets cold, because it's something that helps to keep us warm. We use it in the winter time. You probably have one in your house, and it's warm, and maybe it's fuzzy, and it's probably very, very soft. Do you know what it is? It's a blanket. Do you have a soft, warm, fuzzy blanket at your house? I know I have a whole bunch because there's nothing I love more than a super soft, warm, fuzzy blanket, especially when it's cold outside. Well, today we are talking about a little bit different kind of blanket. Our story today is called The Story Blanket. The Story Blanket. Now, you know I like to wonder about my books before I read them. So let's see what we can wonder about the Story Blanket. It looks like we have lots of probably children, and they're sitting on a blanket. So I bet that blanket is going to be the story blanket. Let's see what happens in our story about the story blanket. Deep in the snow-covered mountains was the tiny village where Baba Zara lived. The children loved to settle down on Baba Zara's big old blanket to listen to her stories. That is a very big blanket. One day, Baba Zara noticed there was a hole in Nikolai's shoe. When the children left, she decided to knit Nikolai some nice warm socks. But so much snow had fallen that winter that no one could get through to the village to deliver wool yarn. How could she knit warm socks without wool? Every question has an answer, said Baba Zara. I just have to think of it. She poured herself a glass of sweet tea to help her think. Before she had taken 3 sips, Baba Zara knew what she had to do. I will unravel a little bit of the story blanket and use the wool for Nikolai's socks. Late at night, when everyone was asleep, Baba Zara trekked through the snow and left the socks on Nikolai's doorstep. Well, that was very nice of her. She made him a pair of socks out of a little bit of her blanket. A few days later, Baba Zara noticed the postman looked quite chilly. Soon after, the postman found a scarf wrapped around his mailbag when he left to start his morning rounds. Do you know who made it? He asked everyone he met. But no one did. I think I know who made it. Do you think you know who made it? The schoolmaster was surprised to find a pair of warm mittens on the woodpile when he brought in wood for the school stove. Mrs. Ivanov flapped the ravens from her wash with the new knitted apron she discovered beside her water pump. Looks like a whole bunch of people are getting mysterious presents. Before long, the grocer was wearing a new shawl instead of her old moth-eaten one, and the children had to sit closer on the blanket when they came to Baba Zara's for a story. Uh-oh, the more things that Baba Zara makes, the smaller and smaller the story blanket gets. Day by day, the villagers grew more curious about the mysterious gifts. Baby Olga received a soft new blanket, and the butcher showed off a fancy new woolen cap that covered his shiny bald head. The children were now squashed together on Baba Zara's very small story blanket. Oh no, the more things she makes, the smaller and smaller and smaller the story blanket gets. Confusion grew when the tailor's scraggly cat showed up, purring and grand in a snug cat coat. There was no story blanket left to sit on. The story blanket is all used up. No more blanket. The villagers asked the mayor to help them solve the mystery. "You know what Baba Zara always says," the mayor replied. "Every question has an answer." When the children saw the socks, the scarf, the mittens, the apron, the shawl, the cap, the baby blanket, and the cat coat all together, they shouted, "It looks like Baba Zara's old story blanket." "But she doesn't have it anymore," said Nikolai. "Aha!" said the mayor. "The mystery is solved. Baba Zara used the wool in her blanket to make these gifts. Now it's our turn to give Baba Zara a surprise." What do you think they're going to do for Baba Zara? So while Baba Zara slept, a few rows of wool were unraveled from every blanket in every household and left on Baba Zara's doorstep. Baba Zara was amazed when she opened her front door in the morning. She had never seen so much wool yarn in so many colors. And on top of it all was a sign that read, "For your new story blanket." Baba Zara used her blanket to make things for other people, so then they used their blankets to give to her so she could make a new story blanket. The next time the children went to Baba Zara's for a story, there was a colorful new blanket to sit on and a tale about a village where everyone shared with each other. As she hugged the children goodbye, Baba Zara noticed a hole in Alexandra's sweater. She wanted to knit Alexandra a surprise, but the snow was still on the hills, and no wool yarn was to be had anywhere in the village. Baba Zara knew that every question had an answer. She looked at her new story blanket and smiled. Oh no, what do you think Baba Zara's going to use for wool? You think maybe she'll use her story blanket again? There she goes, knitting away. Well, that is a neat story about a very special blanket, but it's also a neat story about how important it is to share with other people. And when you share with other people, most of the time they'll want to share with you right back. That was a great blanket story. There are so many different kinds of blankets in the world, big ones and small ones, colorful ones, and even blankets that look like other things. I found a couple of those, and I need your help. Can you help me figure out what shapes these special blankets are? Let's take a look.
There are so many different types of blankets in all sorts of shapes and colors. Can you help me figure out what shapes these blankets are in? What is this blanket? It's a rocket ship! Blast off! What is this blanket? Yum! It's pizza! What is this blanket? Ooh, look out! It's a shark! What is this blanket? It's a juicy tomato. What is this blanket? Da-na-na-na-na-na-na, Batman! What is this blanket? Oh, look! It's a leaf of lettuce. What is this blanket? Whoa! It's the whole galaxy. What is this blanket? Aw, it's a baby burrito! Great job! You've uncovered all of the different shapes of blankets. But now it's time for a very special blanket song.
I'm looking for my blanket.
I'm looking for my blanket.
Have you seen my blanket?
Have you seen my blanket?
I'm looking for my blanket.
I'm looking for my blanket.
Wherever can it be?
Wherever can it be?
It's not behind the couch. It's not in the refrigerator. My brother says he thinks it was eaten by an alligator. Oh no! I'm looking for my blanket.
I'm looking for my blanket.
Have you seen my blanket?
Have you seen my blanket?
I'm looking for my blanket.
I'm looking for my blanket.
Wherever can it be?
Wherever can it be?
It's not down the hall. It's not in my father's office. My sister says she thinks it was eaten by a hippopotamus. Oh no! I'm looking for my blanket.
I'm looking for my blanket.
Have you seen my blanket?
Have you seen my blanket?
I'm looking for my blanket.
I'm looking for my blanket.
Wherever can it be?
Wherever can it be?
What is that I spy? What is that I see underneath my dog? Oh, could it really be? Now I have found my blanket.
I have found my blanket.
Yes, I found my blanket.
Yes, I found my blanket.
I have found my blanket.
I have found my blanket.
And I'm happy as can be.
And I'm happy as can be.
Everything's okay. Everything's just fine. I have found my blanket, and now it is bedtime.